Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Like, as it's going, it actually is curling my finger under it.
Yeah, I was trying to hold on. Interesting. Hey Peculiars, it's me, Amanda the Peculiar Brunette, and today we're going to be doing something a little different because I decided that nobody ghost hunts like they used to, and so we're going to, at Manresa Castle in Port Townsend, Washington. But before we go much further, I definitely think you need to get the vibe of this cute little seaside town, so let's check it out. Now, the castle was built by the town's first elected mayor, Charles Eisenbeis, who completed construction in 1892, and the house was built for him and his second wife, Catherine, also known as Kate. With 30 rooms, the castle was the largest private residence in Port Townsend at the time, and its design was actually inspired by Eisenbeis' native country, Prussia, and every room featured a 12-inch thick brick wall. Unfortunately, Charles passed away in 1902, so we really only got to enjoy it for about 10 years. And Kate lived there for a little bit, but eventually remarried, and so it sat empty for 20 years with the exception of a caretaker. In 1925, the castle was actually purchased by a Seattle attorney that was going to be used for some Seattle nuns. However, that plan didn't work out. In 1927, some Jesuit priests purchased it and did some renovations themselves, and eventually changed the name to Manresa Hall, which was named after the town in Spain where their order was founded. In 1968, the Jesuit priests left. The hotel was purchased and turned into a hotel. Now, the new owners combined the names Eisenbeis Castle and Manresa Hall to name it Manresa Castle. There are three main legends surrounding Manresa Castle, and they each have a few variations. So let's start with the young woman in room 306. According to legends, the young woman unalived herself by jumping out the window when she found out that her fiancé had died at sea. Now, according to some of the variations, the fiancé/husband actually lived and was rescued at sea, but the young woman had already moved on with another man and she didn't want to face him, so she unalived herself. Some other variations of the story include that he was actually never lost at sea. He was fighting in a war and she had gotten word that he had died, and so she jumped out the window. However, her whole legend doesn't really make sense to me because the Jesuit priests didn't even move out until 1968. So then it became a hotel, so when was she really staying there? There's no proof that she's ever stayed in the hotel. And, I mean, what war is she waiting for someone to come back from? Or, like, who's lost at sea where there isn't, after 1968, where there isn't documentation for this? I don't know. That story seems a little suspicious to me. Now, the second legend involves a monk who is said to have hanged himself in the turret above room 302. Guests and staff often report hearing footsteps coming from the attic above. Now, some variations on this legend claim that the reason he did this was because he was having a romantic relationship with a nun, and he was carrying around a lot of guilt and shame about this. Again, there's no documentation or proof of this, though. According to the local Port Townsend newspaper, The Leader, quote, "It's also said by some those stories might have been the work of a loquacious and entertaining bartender who made up ghostly tales just to draw customers. The last legend involves Charles Eisenbeis' grave and the sandstone slab above it. Now, over the years, it cracked and needed to be renovated. Charles was buried with his first wife, Ellen, and when they went in to do these renovations, they found a child's grave on top of Charles' grave. Now, all of his remaining descendants have no idea who this child is, and no one knows who buried him there. However, there's often child's laughter heard at Manresa Castle. So who is this mysterious child? And are they haunting Manresa Castle? Now, there are three main types of hauntings and sightings at Manresa Castle. The first one is apparitions, and it's basically the young woman, the monk, and a child. They all appear ghost-like and see-through. The second is auditory phenomena, so most of it's footsteps, specifically in the attic, and other like disembodied voices, so anywhere in the castle, kind of like whisperings, and also a child's laughter. The last type includes physical activity, so doors locking and unlocking themselves, moving objects, light switches turning on and off, sudden drops in temperature or cold spots, and basically the feeling or sensation of being touched. The most notable haunted rooms at Manresa Castle are room 302, which is associated with the monk's death, room 306, which is associated with the young woman's death, and then room 304, which doesn't have a specific legend tied to it, but is a place where a lot of occurrences and activity happens. However, we figured that those rooms have been pretty much covered, including on an episode of Ghost Adventures. So since it was our anniversary, we decided to stay in the Honeymoon Suite and see if we could catch any activity there. We started at Laurel Grove Cemetery. We were greeted by some deer, including a buck, which I thought was good luck since tonight was the full buck moon of July. The Eisenbeis Grave is a peaceful and dignified resting place. As we enjoyed the beautifully maintained tomb, I couldn't help but think of Charles and the unknown child buried beneath. Brian had the great idea of collecting a few fallen leaves from the holly tree that grows directly out of the Eisenbeis grave. Would Charles sense this connection and try to communicate with us tonight? I knew it was time to check into the Manresa Hotel. And you can see the ocean.
An EMF meter is a small device that measures the electromagnetic field. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go around the room and look for any EMF fields that may be present so that we can establish a control for later when we're ghost hunting. All right, we're going to start right up here by the front door with this light switch. bit around this control knob. Okay, pretty much we went around the room, but we forgot to do these chandeliers here. So something weird about this one is that it's really not giving off the EMF like the other ones are, even
That's
though
kind
it's
of weird.
on. It is kind of weird.
Closer?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's still not doing it.
It's
so
doing
this
it,
one,
but not as high. Okay, what about that chandelier?
And let's do this one. And this one, it does give off one.
Interesting.
You gotta be within a foot or two, though.
It's weird that the other one doesn't do it.
Yeah, I thought that too.
All right, now another thing that we thought we'd add to this ghost hunting session, we wanted to make it really easy for any of the spirits here in the house to be able to communicate that they're here with us. So we set up a few wind chimes. I've got one that's hanging right here behind me off of this armoire. Basically, it sounds like this. The other one I'll show you over here. We thought was a good spot was to hang it off the door. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start our first session for the night. We're gonna start off with a Ouija board. Now, I know that those can be kind of controversial, but I find them to be kind of helpful sometimes. Now, my husband came up with this really great idea when we were visiting Charles Eisenbeis Grave earlier. There were some leaves that were on the ground kind of around it. So my husband grabbed some of those. Now holly leaves are really great because their symbolism is for kind of dream work, protection against evil spirits, and really just good luck. So not only are we going to have a little bit of protection, but we also have a bit of Charles Eisenbeis and his family just to kind of, bring that energy in here. Now, I also bought a protection candle when we were in downtown Port Townsend today from this amazing little kind of witchy store, and it's called a Phoenix Rising, I believe, and it's one of my favorites. We stop there every time we go here, so I made sure to get one of their candles, and it's for protection, and I'm gonna go ahead and light that too the whole time that we do all of our ghost hunting here, just to make sure that we have a little bit of extra safety. And one last thing I want to mention is that we have these little book lights around our neck just for a little bit of extra lighting and to make sure that you can see the Ouija board and everything's clear. So that's what these are. They're just little book lights. All right, let's go lights out. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start and just see if anybody's here and we'll go from there, okay? So we're going to start by asking if there is anyone here with us tonight that wants to make themselves known. There's nothing down there in that corner. We're gonna go and put this in a figure 8 one more time. Is there anyone here with us tonight that would like to communicate? It's very interesting. There's nothing over here, right? Mm-mm. These corners don't have any meaning. Okay, now, is there anybody's name? Are you making that? Are you interested in this leaf? Are you trying to show me that holly leaf?
I kind of chills on this spine.
Yes. Okay. Okay. That's interesting. You got chills?
Yeah.
I'm not even touching this. This is moving a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
Is Charles Eisenbeis with us tonight? Yes. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, Charles. Charles, I just want you to confirm one more time that, Charles, you are the one that we're speaking with. I'm like, I just have like my fingernails touching almost.
I'm barely touching it. I mean, I could almost be floating up just above it.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Charles. Charles, if you could clearly let us know how many spirits are currently in the house here total, including you. Okay. You want to recenter again? Nine. Okay. There's 9. That's crazy. I'm like not even touching this.
I am barely, I mean.
Like I am like barely.
Yeah,
Sometimes I have my fingernails on it only.
Yeah.
Charles, are all of the spirits, all 9 of the spirits in this house, are they relatives of yours? All of them.
That moved with force.
That, I felt that. That gave me chills. Charles, do you spend all of your time here in this house since you passed away? No. Charles, do you spend your time in other areas of Port Townsend? Yes. Okay. Can you tell us the name of anywhere else in Port Townsend that you spend time other than the Manresa Castle? Can you name the building you spend time in? No. Okay. Thank you, Charles. Is the reason you can't name it because it changed names since you've known it? Does the building have a new name that you're not familiar with?
I mean, I'm like literally
I'm
like
getting
following.
chills. I have chills all up my legs. Do you have any messages for any of the tenants, any of the guests that stay here in the hotel, or anyone watching this would want to know? No.
No.
Okay. That's weird. That moved like to center it over the no. Wow. Okay. Thank you, Charles. Please give us any message that you think we should know, or any guests that stay at your lovely home here at Manresa Castle. It's a very beautiful home that you built.
Eisenbeis Castle.
What'd I say?
Manresa.
Oh, good point.
I mean, it has changed names.
It has changed name. Is that why you said no? Okay, that's a good point. Here, let's recenter this. That makes sense, Charles.
It's so weird that it.
Okay.
I mean, maybe I
Let me clarify. Charles, I'm sorry. This is Eisenbeis Castle as you know it. Do you spend all your time in Eisenbeis Castle, your home, since you've passed away? Yes.
I mean,
My fingers slip. I'm not even like.
me either. I'm not like that's one's basically.
I'm like barely touching this. Like
almost like I'm following the plastic as it moves.
Yeah, I feel like it's being pulled along, and I'm trying to catch up.
Yeah.
To be on it, like.
Because I'm just
my
kind of
fingers,
floating
like,
just
slip,
above the
like-
surface of it.
Goodbye. Thank you, Charles. I appreciate your time.
It was quite interesting
That
so
was
far.
really surprising. Like, I never have a
I felt to
never
move with
have
force before,
the
but
planchette though, like move that much. I was not.
that was pretty active.
Like that moved a lot. Normally it sits for so long and you don't get anything. Like that was quite surprising to me how much it moved. And I barely, at one point I was just touching it with my fingernails.
Like this couple of times, like
And
as it's going, it actually is curling my finger under it. Cause
yeah, I was trying to hold on.
I was trying to hold on because I was like cramping me in a corner, you know?
I was kind of looking too. I was like, are you moving?
No, I'm like barely sitting on the surface.
Because I could really feel it. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, it is windy outside. I want to make sure that that's kind of known. Like the blinds
that could
sometimes
be
that was like...
That was different.
That was different.
I haven't had him do that in a long time since I was young.
That was really interesting. Okay, thank you very much. We're going to go ahead and wrap the Ouija board. It's 10:59. So now I thought we would do some dowsing rods. If you're not familiar with dowsing rods, they're basically made out of copper. These handles here they're loose. So me holding this, it's loose. See here how this moves? I can't control this dowsing rod. Ow, I just hit myself in the face. How embarrassing. I told you I can't control them. So
it's like careful where you're flinging those.
I know, right? But that's just to let you guys know that I am not able to control where this goes. And so we're gonna ask basically yes or no questions with it and see what information. I have a list of questions I already came up with before we got here, and so I'm gonna try to answer as many of those as I can. Let's go ahead and establish what is yes and what is no. So if you're able, if you can open the dowsing rods as wide as possible for yes. Thank you. Open them all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way. Yes, thank you. Thank you, that's all the way. Thank you very much. Okay, now if you can cross them over the top of each other for no. So move them, yep, that's the one. If you can move the center one. There we go, yep. So that is gonna be our answer of no. Thank you very much. You can go ahead and let them relax. Thank you. Are you able to communicate through these dowsing rods? Make sure I open them all the way. There you go. Very good. Okay. Are there multiple spirits in the room with us? Yes. Okay. We have multiple. All the way. You gotta open it all the way, all the way, all the way. All the way. Thank you. Do you like the wind chimes that are here in the room? We have to open them up all the way for a yes. All the way for a yes. Thank you. Thank you. And now if you can put those back in neutral. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I know it's a lot of work to answer these questions, and I appreciate it. Ooh, oh, it was forceful. Were there any workers or employees that suffered any accidents or misfortunes while building and constructing the Eisenbeis Castle? No. Is there the spirit of a Jesuit priest or monk currently in the room with us? No. Now, is there a spirit of a Jesuit priest or monk in the hotel? No. Are there any spirits here in this room right now who don't feel like they've been heard? That if they've tried to communicate and they don't feel like they've been heard? Okay, thank you. Oh, I got chills on that one. Okay, I got chills. For the spirit that feels unheard, did you live here during the 19th century? Wow, that was a fast yes.
That was a fast yes. I'm watching your hands, And occasionally I'll see you move them, but mostly they're pretty steady.
Still. I'm trying to hold them still. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Do you prefer when the hotel is empty and quiet? No. Okay. Sometimes it's nice to have people around, isn't it? Yes, it is. So the next question is the Honeymoon Suite, that's where we're currently at in the turret, is this room haunted? Do spirits come in here? Yes. Is the Honeymoon Suite the most haunted room in this hotel? No. Is room 302 the most haunted room in this hotel? No. Is room 304 the most haunted room in this hotel? No. Is room 306 the most haunted room in this hotel? Interesting. Is the attic the most haunted room in this hotel? No, that was a fast no. Is the basement the most haunted room in this hotel? No. Is there a room in this hotel that is the most haunted? No. Okay. Is the whole castle full of spirits? You have to open up all the way for a yes so that we know it's true. Keep going, keep going, keep going. That's the one. Okay, I'm gonna try to hold like lower down too, just to make sure that I'm keeping it. Okay. Is there the spirit of a child here in the hotel? All the way for yes or no, please. All the way yes. All the way open for yes, please. Thank you. Thank you. There was a child who was found in the grave of Charles Eisenbeis and his first wife at the Laurel Cemetery. The Laurel Grove Cemetery, I think it was called. Are you the child from that cemetery? From that grave? No. The child's spirit that resides in this hotel, here in the room with us now? No. Do you know if the child that lives in this hotel is connected with the Eisenbeis family? And by connected, I mean related. A family member of the Eisenbeis. Yes, okay. That's interesting. When we checked in at the front desk, the beautiful clerk there, we're gonna call her AD because I don't wanna say her name on camera without permission. AD told us that she saw you once in the hallway in front of the haunted rooms. Well, saw the child in front of the rooms that are claiming to be most haunted. Does the child like to hang out around rooms 302, 304, and 306? That's kind of neutral. Does the child like to roam the entire castle? All the way open for yes. All the way open. Did the child die of illness that lives in this hotel still? Yes, an illness. Are you able to communicate with the child that is in this hotel? Oh, yes, okay. Would the child like to play with some marbles that we brought? Ooh. Yes. Okay. And since you can communicate with that child, would you let them know that we will be setting up marbles tonight? They'll be right here, and they'll be easy to move, easy to touch, and should be on this table at a level where a child can reach them. Are there any spirits that live in this house that are dangerous? No. Do you have a reason that you stay here in this hotel, even if you're not happy here? Yes. Quick, huh? I feel like I hear a little like dink too. I've heard it like only once or twice, but it feels like something hits it on the tip. Do you stay here to be with any of the other spirits that are here? Yes, okay. That's sad. There's like music playing now. Somebody's got music playing. It wasn't playing earlier, but it sounds like maybe there's another guest in the hotel. So in case that's picking up, see, and when I'm not talking, these are just going all over. They don't do anything when I'm not talking. Thank you. We're going to go ahead and end this Dowsing Rod session. Thank you. It looks like there's maybe like a party going on, and there's music that's playing really loud with a pretty good beat. And it's almost midnight, so they're supposed to be quiet by 10, so I don't know how much longer that's going to go on for. So I'm going to take a shower. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to do an EVP session tonight because there is a party going on downstairs in the restaurant below us. It's about 1:30 in the morning now. I'm not really sure what's going on down there, but obviously with the music reverberating through the floor and the walls, we're not going to be able to get a clear session. So we are going to go ahead and just call it for the night, set up the night cam, set up the marbles, and we're going to go to bed. Okay, so we are going to lay out these marbles on the table to make it easy for any spirits or entities or children that want to play with them. And then over here, we're going to have the night vision camera set up. So it's got a motion sensor on it. And basically it will take a photograph and record a video for 2 minutes if it notices any motion. I'm also going to lay out some of those holly leaves around the marbles to make sure if anybody wants to, because that came straight from Charles Eisenbeis Grave, that will be here too in case Charles wants to interact with that or any other spirits or entities here in the hotel. All right, well, we wrapped the night at Manresa Castle. Basically, once we turned the cameras off and went to sleep, we didn't have any strange experiences. Nothing happened to either of us in the night. When we woke up in the morning, the night cam battery had died. So we'll have to go and review that footage when we get home and we can like recharge everything.
See what it captured.
Yeah. And then the marbles, we didn't see any of the marbles having moved in the night. I mean, maybe the cam will show differently, but they still all looked on the table. Didn't hear the wind chimes. Yeah, so we're excited to get back and review all the footage and see what else we found. As we set up the camera for the night, I didn't realize there was a settings section at the bottom of the screen, showing the temperature, date, and time. As you can see, it's incorrect, so please disregard those numbers. During the investigation, we captured several videos of strange orbs floating around the room. Maybe they were just bugs or dust kicked up by the wind? However, my husband and I spent many hours in this room, and we never saw any bugs. The following footage shows a burst of wind blowing through the curtains, but as you can see, no dust is visible in the air afterward. This made me question what these orbs could really be. Here's what the night cam captured. I'll play each clip several times so you can see for yourself. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to comment down below where you might want to see us ghost hunt next. Lots of love to you, and remember, as always, stay peculiar. Now this in the turret. We're editing that out for later. You guys don't need to know the password of my phone. And this stand. So who is this mysterious China?
I literally forgot what I was going to